Into the garden. Into the garden. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome in, welcome in. This is casual talk, so it ain't no routine. It ain't nothing. No structure. If we just talking, it's and that's just what it's gonna be. We just talking because we need to conversate. We need to understand what is important to one another and what is important for one another. And a lot of times when you talk and communicate and explore and you get when you have a dialogue, you get different perspectives. And so that's what casual talks is about. It's about bridging the gaps between perspectives. And so uh, we can get understanding. Because when you get understanding, you can also have compassion for one another. And that is very important in these times. So I am so excited that you guys tuned in. I am your gardener, Malachi Nehemiah Moses. But for these purposes, you can call me your gardener. And I am thrilled to be before you today to just talk about pivoting into your best self. Um, the last 2 years of my life was preparing me for this pivot. I did not know how much I would be pressed. Pressed, okay? Pressed. It was so much, it was like, it was pressure. And it was not the best environment sometimes because I didn't know who to trust. I had to equip within myself the ability to trust myself, to hear myself, and understand that it's okay to not be okay, to be in a state of flux, to be in a state of, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm also not where I was. So you are making progress. I was making progress. I am making progress, but I was in a state of so much pressure. I mean, everything was falling on me. And just to name a few, like people were trying to steal from me. One, that's never good. Uh, I faced a death in my family that kind of tore the family apart a little bit, and so it was a little uh, there's some aggressive energy going on, and there were just so many different things that was happening. And then I was in a new environment, so I moved from Orlando to Texas. And so I'm in Texas. I'm in a new position for work. I'm working. I'm a boss to people who are like 20 years my age. So that was not a place that I guess was good for them, I guess, because they felt that how could I know anything with my age? But see, the thing about me, and I don't know everything, but I am a student teacher because I feel as if life has shown me so much, and guiding me through so much where I am able to take the pitfalls and the stressful situations and turn them into fertilizer for my life, turn them into fertilizer for everyone else's life so we can communicate and connect through these challenging times. Because you're not going to grow in comfortability. My, that's one of the hardest words I have to say, by the way. Comfortable. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. It's a disconnect. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, um, bridging that, understanding that life is not going to be without challenge. Even in this spiritual community, we think that there's no challenges. But let me tell you this, challenges breed creativity. Challenges breed creativity. If you weren't in a challenge, you wouldn't be forced to think outside of the box, or you wouldn't be forced to do something that you procrastinated on. And so sometimes life, God in you, Christ in you, is so wiser and knows that When you're in a place of comfortability, you will get complacent. You'll be there and you won't move forward. And so sometimes a challenge may come along to tell you, hey, you're in a place that has not tapped your potential. You're in a place that you got more in you to 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 show. You got more in you to share. You got more in you to cultivate. And so sometimes these challenges that come in our life are for that reason. And so these next couple of talks, I really want to dive into how do we pivot into our best selves after we've gone through those challenges, after we've had the the season of hell. Winston Churchill says, when you're going through hell, keep going. You know why? Because you're at the edge of your breakthrough. You're at the edge of your breakthrough. We are at the edge of our breakthrough. So keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Tired. Not feeling it. Maybe even, uh, you know, dehydrated. Keep going. Fatigue. Keep going. Get some rest. Figure out what it is that you need to take care of yourself. See, and on this journey to your best self and most fulfilled life, you have to learn how to tend to yourself. You are a multifaceted individual, but most times you only pay attention to your physical health. A lot of times you don't pay attention to your emotional health or your mental health because you can't see them. But you, beloved, who is hearing me right now, experiences mental fluctuations all day long. That mental conversation can be so tedious and sometimes so draining because the mental equivalent that comes with a thought is the emotion. So when you have a thought, you're putting energy into motion. That's why you have the emotion. And so the energy that you're setting in motion with your thought corresponds to how you to that feeling of that thought. So if it doesn't feel good to you, maybe you have to reorient how you're thinking. And that's just not the first step. I mean, that's just the first step. Orient how you're thinking. But now when you change your thinking, you're gonna change your behavior. And as your behavior change, you're gonna act and show up in the world in a new way. And that's what we want as we pivot into our best selves. We want to show up into the world in a new way. Because what we have right now has brought how we showed up right now has brought us what we have. And so now we need to show up in a new way so we can get new results. And I'm your brother in the journey for that. Because I, for the longest, did not want to be on video. Oh, I pushed this thing as far as I could, but my my call was just like, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do things that support your gifts that you necessarily don't want to do. And it is very unfortunate, but as we pivot into our next chapter of being our best selves and creating our best chapter yet, we're gonna have to dive down into the patterns that don't serve us. We're gonna have to dive into those events, those memories that we keep giving life to. You know, if it doesn't feed you, you should starve it. In other words, you should not give your attention to it. But a lot of times, we don't know how to end the cycle of the event because we don't know how to embrace the under, the under. I'm gonna get it. We don't know how to embrace the what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Anyways, we don't know how to embrace what the actual cause. That really gets us into our feelings because when you embrace what the trigger is, you're forced to actually feel what you were uh, trying not to feel the whole time. what you were pushing away from yourself. Um, I just had stories for other days. But you were pushing away the actual having to feel what you truly feel. And so the first thing I can tell you is pivoting into your best self is to embrace it. Embrace it. And that's what I had to do. I had to embrace the fact that once I open up myself to the public, to people being able to see me and comment and say whatever they want, I'm going to have to understand and set within myself the fact that everyone can have their opinion, but that's not my reality. But it wasn't until I had to truly embrace what is really keeping you from to go all in with what you want to do, to go all in with your vision, with your goals, with your dream. You know what is stopping you, and so I had to embrace what was underneath the procrastination. And so, underneath the procrastination was fear. It was the fear of the public, it was the fear of opinions. Because my whole life, I've curated a life to where I don't have to hear what people are going to say to me because I've been the authority in the room, so to speak. And so I never had to care about that because once I leave, I've never interacted anymore with the opinions, so I never heard them. But now that I'm here, people can comment and say what they will all day long. But within myself, I had to create the pattern of I allow you to have your opinion. I'm okay with everyone saying whatever they want to say. I don't have to take it on as my identity. And I don't have to defend myself to anyone. But that was me getting to the root cause. I would never been able to do that inner work if I didn't get to the root cause. Oftentimes we shy away from our dreams and stop and inhibit ourselves from making goals to go after our dreams because of fear. Because of fear of what everyone else is going to say or that they won't understand the dream. But, beloved, it was given to you. So they're not going to understand it. If they understood you, they would be you. Exactly. They're not going to 100% understand you because they're not you. And so, therefore, you're going to have to put on your big boy pants and big girl pants and learn to communicate who you are and learn to stand up to those naysayers and say, hey, whatever you want to say, you can say it. I don't care. Why? Because I know me. And I beg of all of you all to show up authentically. Show up yourself. And those who like you. And those who don't, don't. And that's all right. Because you everything isn't for everyone. And your set of experiences may not resonate with everyone else. But you are here for a reason. And your tribe will see what you put out, but first you have to put it out. First you have to do it. So start with the work. Start with the inner work. That is the goal of Journey to Myself. Journey to Myself empowers individuals to cultivate wellness within so they can live the life that fulfills them, so they can answer the call of their dreams, so they can be bold and create goals that go after their dreams. And so you got the gifts. The Almighty has already placed them in you to share. Maybe you have to take the skills to exercise your gift, to hone your gift. You know, that is an important thing. Talent is get you got the talent, but sometimes you have to exercise different skills to maximize your talent. You know, I like to speak to people, but one skill that helps me is studying words. If I learn more words when I'm in different places or in front of different audiences, I can choose on different words that would best relate to them. You know, I don't want to be like gigantium when I can just say big. But sometimes you're in that place, um, or I could, gargantuan. What I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know if I pronounced that word correctly. And see, that's another thing. I have to practice with my pronunciation. Um, as sometimes I'm subconscious because I grew up with a speech impediment. I grew up with a speech teacher, and so we'll get into my background. It was, let's just say, it was a traumatic upbringing, but I realized hindsight is 2020. I signed up for it. Maybe not for every, like, but I knew the emotional vibrational environment that I was gonna be in from a soul perspective. I knew what was up. I knew what was up, but I forgot that I knew. And so, but now that I'm in the place I am now, I understand that um, as a soul, as a spiritual being having a human experience, I am sharing my essence with the world. But I didn't always have that perspective. I didn't always come from that point of view. And now that I do, I realize how all my experiences that I've gone through from the time I've entered into this space of existence, the space of time, I have been able to see that, like, everything that life has brought to me has been for the manifestation of my greatest potential, of me being my best self. But if I look at my challenging moments and not take the lesson from them, I may just become a victim. And if I just become a victim, I'm only going to think as a victim. And that victim mentality won't put me in the space and realm of mind to actually uncover the actual purpose of those experiences for me. Like, hey, what did this teach me? Being emotionally broken for 20 years of my life because of a traumatic sexual assault as a child. Um, what did that actually teach me? What did that allow me as the observer to actually be able to gain from that experience? And what it helped me be able to do is realize that we're in the world where everyone goes through challenging times. Everyone may not have maybe suffered a sexual assault like I have, but you go through something that is just as big for you, you know, just as big, just as traumatic for you, but it's not the same thing. But however, we have a tendency to compare because we are beings who can rationalize. So we could say, oh, this sexual assault and this divorce, they're not the same. You would be more hurt from a sexual assault versus a divorce. Yeah, people actually say that to people, telling them how hurt they should be or how traumatizing it was. But at the end of the day, all the experiences that you've gone through that brought you challenging moments, that brought you sandpaper moments, they're here to polish you. They're here to bring something out of you. And it's okay to have gone through it. But because you've gone through it, did you gain anything from it? And if you can look at it from that perspective, I gained compassion. I gained empathy. And so now that experience wasn't for nothing. It wasn't for nothing. And now I can sit and go through life and be able to understand and communicate that I get it. You're going through a rough moment right now. and you may not be able to see through the emotional fog. But as your brother in the journey, take my hand. I won't even say nothing right now. I'll just sit with you and let you know that you're not alone. Just be here. You're not alone. You're not alone. And so, in this time of transition, in this time of new beginnings, let go of the victim. Let go of the trauma. Use it as fertilizer. Use it as fertilizer. Use it as fuel, you know? And it's so funny because all my experiences, I sit and I say that it has shown me the type of individual I want to show up as. And I definitely want to be someone who brings love versus trauma to an individual, who brings joy versus frustration, who brings calm versus anger, who brings balance versus disruption. You know, that those experiences taught me and showed me how I can be deliberate in choosing the type of individual I want to show up as. Because when I went through traumatic experiences, challenging experiences, it felt like, dang, this is all it is, you know? But when you come out of that tunnel of darkness and you see that, okay, that was just a moment in time, I'm not stuck here. But the thing is, as life progresses on and the event is over, we keep replaying that event. And so we keep, as you relive that event, you keep giving energy to it. When you relive those traumatic experiences, you are relighting that frequency. You're recalibrating yourself to that frequency of trauma. Because as you think, you feel, and as you feel, you emit a certain frequency. And as that frequency is sustained, you vibrate there. And so as you vibrate there, your life experiences are magnetized by that vibration. And so you don't get what you want, you get who you are. And so if you are in that cycle of why these things keep happening to me, perhaps you have to start in the cycle of why do I keep thinking and giving energy to that? Why haven't I closed that chapter? Why haven't I allowed healing for those experiences? The thing is, as I previously mentioned, you haven't embraced it yet and you haven't gotten to the root. And so, right now is your time to reflect. Let's get to the root. Let's get to the root. Why are you staying in that relationship so long? Let's get to the root. Why you stayed at that job when you knew that you had been called to birth those businesses? When you've been called to birth those creative endeavors? Why? Why did you stay there? Let's get to the root. Why didn't you take action? You had the desire. You want it for yourself. Why didn't you take action towards it? Whatever it may be. Why didn't you take action? And so as we're going into our next chapter, we got to tie up and seal the old chapter mentally and emotionally. Therefore, we don't keep perpetuating that same frequency in our experiences. Because if we want a new experiences, we're going to have to bring a new version of ourselves inwardly. And I'm talking about showing up in a space where you see you. And don't nobody else think all the things and are witnesses of all those mental fluctuations that you allow. And so now we are here at the Garden of Rejuvenation, journey to our myself to ourselves. I wanted to, you know, make it plural. But journey to myself is the Garden of Rejuvenation, and we're here to cultivate wellness. And sometimes the spiritual part is the unseen. It is the things that you don't uh, necessarily see, but you experience. You experience that those patterns of thoughts day in and day out, moment by moment. And unless you create a new pattern of thinking, you will be in that pattern of anxiety, or you'll be in that pattern of depression, or you'll be in that pattern of lack, or you'll be in that pattern of not being where I want to be because you haven't changed the mechanism of creation. Let's think of thoughts as seeds for a moment. So when you think a thing, let's say it is deposited into your mind, right? And so now that you have the mental capacity of it, it is now it is now influenced by and created by and taken by your brain. Your physical vessel follows the mind. So as you think, your physical vessel is following it. So now the brain is carving out neural pathways so that you could do these mental habitual patterns on autopilot. And so that's why sometimes when you want to do a new thing, you don't do the new thing because you're operating on autopilot and you've been doing that so long that you have to go back in and actually change and be deliberate about changing that habit. And that's what we do here at the Garden of Rejuvenation. We get inside ourselves and we tend ourselves like we're a garden. We start looking at stuff like, ooh, I invited that weed in here. Gotta yank it out. You know, that weed could be self-doubt. That weed can be that feeling of not enough because of a truth that you accepted about yourself that's not necessarily true. But the thing is, if you say it's so, then it's so. And everything in your world will follow it. Because that's the power that you have. That's the power that you have. It's been given to you. You've been given power, love, and a sound mind. And so now you have to operate in a sound mind. Because for so long, all these external stimuli were keeping you in a place of not being sound, not having clarity, not having direction. And so it's time for you to clear up those things in your mind that block out clarity, that block out direction, and take control and accountability for your freedom to think. Your mindset is everything. Your mindset is like the soil of your life, you know? So if you are conditioned to be a negative Nancy, then it's like equivalent to planting your seeds in sand. So as soon as you think about a thing, you're gonna put negative energy behind it. And so immediately you might as well just yank it back up. So you can't put doubt behind your dream, you know? You have to put positivity behind your dream. You have to put optimism. So perhaps you may not know how you're going to get the money to fund this $1 million endeavor. And you can say that to yourself. I may not know how I'm going to get the money to fund this $1 million endeavor, but it can come to me somehow. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to get my plan ready. Then I'm a then now I got my plan, I'm gonna prepare. And now that I'm prepared, now it's time to get in action. And now that I've got my plan and I'm prepared, if an opportunity comes that can take me to my next level, I've done the work. I got my plan, I've prepared, and now I'm open to opportunities. I'm open to that moment that will bring me closer to where I'm going. However, if you don't know your target, you don't know where you're going, you're going to miss the opportunity because you wouldn't be able to recognize it. And so that's what this is. This is why we're here. We're here to cultivate a connection with ourselves. We're here to do that inner work. We're here to release the old. We're here to release the old, and it's time that you become your biggest cheerleader. I'm cheering for y'all. I'm here rooting you on. You got this, you got this. I believe in you. But you have to believe in you. You have to trust that everything inside of you, you got. Everything inside of you, you got. And everything inside of you is necessary to serve the dream, to serve the desires, and to serve the vision. You have the capacity to do what you need to do for yourself. But the thing is, do you have the willingness to be persistent in the daily progression toward a thing? Even though your physical eyes tell you it's not here yet, can you still celebrate it? Can you still say, I'm so grateful for my business? Because your business is. That tomato plant is. Just in the quality of the seed, it is. And the seed has everything to go about, to bring about the fruit that you will enjoy from the tomato plant. And so you have the very thing that you need to enjoy the fruit of your dream. You have it. So get get them goals together and go after your dream. A dream without goals, you just gonna stay a dream. It's just gonna stay an ideal in your head. It's just gonna still be a desire. But let me tell you this, you don't have to progress all the way through life and let your desire never see the break of day. Because someone's waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. I need a groove to that song that you got in your spirit. I need to read that book. I want to see that artwork. I want to be inspired. I want to be inspired by that innovation. We're waiting for you. So pivot into your best self. Choose to make your next chapter your best chapter. I'm your gardener, your brother in the journey, and I release you to your greatness. Thank you for tuning in to this casual talk.